Awesome. As soon as you,
Okay. Well, I called this story Courage to Fail, partly inspired by Nick's vulnerable sharing last week about the event they put on and um, how it didn't go exactly how they hoped, but did one thing, learned one thing, and that's just, I think, a great lesson. And as I step into the story, I'm kind of thinking that whenever we step into something, there's the potential to fail. So maybe the courage to fail is accepting to tell this story today too. Who knows? But may it not be so. So probably 6 weeks ago, maybe 8 weeks ago, I there was a call just to share at the Southwest Individual Resistance what we were feeling, what we were thinking, where we thought the group needed to go next. And I felt this thing about civil disobedience. It's got to be it, civil disobedience. So I got up and said, we have. I feel like we need to take stronger action. Like it's great that we're going out and we're marching. We're waving signs. It's fantastic. We're mobilizing people, but there is no time when Trump is going to say, "Oh, there's too many signs and there's too many people marching. I changed my mind." That's not going to happen. So we need to step into civil disobedience. And the next thing I know, 4 or 5 people are coming up to me and saying, "Yeah, me too, me too. Let's do this." And so, you know, um, we decide to go to coffee. We have coffee over at the um, Maplewood. No, can't think of the name now. Um, Coffee house near us, and we share and we talk about what it's going to take to do a general strike, or we eventually get to the idea of general strike. And um, the next thing you know, me and this group of people are planning to lead a workshop at Southwest Individual Resistance for strike readiness. And I'm like, what? What? Like, how'd I get here doing this? And who am I teamed up with? I'm teamed up with a couple from St. Louis who, yeah, they were at Ferguson. They were there on the streets. They were there getting beat up, and really in one of the most intense, yeah, a very intense time of civil disobedience. They were there, um, and Philip tells a story about when he was in jail and he got thrown in jail and he comes out of jail and he said, "I can't figure out where my belt went." Like, and then a friend shows him a video of him being dragged out, and sure enough, his belt comes out of his pants and his belt was gone. But like, what am I doing with these people? Like, the most outrageous thing I've done was in like 2018. I actually had the courage to sit in the middle of the driveway to the ice building. Wow, like, whoa, I did that. Ooh, oh, I wouldn't do that now, actually, but there I was. Well, so I stepped into this with mixed feelings. I was in an experienced group, which was great. That was sort of gave me courage and gave me the the oomph to carry on through this and to go through with it. But then also, like, what am I doing here with these people who are experienced organizers and gathered people for Ferguson and kept people going at Ferguson? What am I doing here? So we held our workshop on the evening of April 23rd, a Thursday evening, and as I was leaving, I said to Harriet, "Wish me luck, because I'm about to lead part of a workshop that I have no business doing, no business whatsoever." um, it all went great. We got a good turnout. It worked out well. People were very positive on what we shared. Um, and I was concerned because I knew a friend who had been to Chile, been in Chile during the Pinochet takeover, was going to be there, and like I felt like I was the least experienced person in the room, but there we are. Um, so, kind of reflections on how did this all happen? Like, how did how did how did I go down this path? How was I with this group of people talking about strike readiness when, like, I hadn't even read about strike readiness until 3 months prior, probably, right? But I took the time to learn, and I took the time to work with these people. We were acting together, which was just vitally important because on my own, that would not have happened. And I think, as I think about this group, I think this space and you all, us is what enabled me to do this, right? You're all role models in what you do, every one of you. And none of us are real heroes, right? We're not heroes in this, but we're each regular people doing what we can do. And that is the role model I need because I'm not going to be the hero. I'm not there. Um, and then our practice of inviting people, Robin's drumbeat of organized people, which is great. It's very important that, yeah, we are organizing people and getting people to come out and take action. I think, to comment on our format, I think for me, it's working really well because it's created a space where we can introduce and bring ideas and talk about ideas and get into depth on them. Um, and since we're in a relationship, it's a space where we can express difference, and we can step into it and talk about what that difference was. And, a perfect example is Chris saying that, I don't know about this general strike thing. I just don't know. And stepping into that and in relationship and hearing Chris and Chris hearing me and just not trying to convince each other, but just listening to each other. And that space and that example is just great, and necessary. And just the mentoring that we do, mentoring and encouraging through that process and supporting us in this process. So I'll close with the eco-faith practice of practice 4, mentor one another, consciously draw out the gifts, wisdom, and life-giving power of others, and share our own by mentoring and being mentored. And in the interpersonal dimension, we are mentored by and mentor others, naming the gifts that we recognize in one another and inviting, extending constructive feedback for the sake of our mutual leadership development. And stepping into things with the courage to fail. Thank you.